Morning, it's about lights, camera, action. Lights, camera, action. The text, the talk, the takeaway. James 2. James 2 says this, 14 through 17 or so. It says this: faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. Faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. Let's talk about this morning lights, camera, action. I'm going to break the word action down and take each letter and give you what God has given me. The A stands for advance. If you are walking by faith and in faith, you got to be advancing. You're either progressing or regressing. Romans 1:17 says this: we go from faith to faith, from glory to glory. You cannot remain in one place, one space, and think that God is going to always move. You've got to be in a movement, if you will. You got to be moving. You got to advance. Faith always calls us higher, always calls us forward. Faith never calls us backward. And so I just know that. And First Peter 2:2 says that you got to desire more than just milk to advance. You got to want to grow in grace. You got to want to grow in grace. You want to advance. Got to advance. How many of you want to advance? Put that in the chat area. I want to advance in my faith because it's lights, camera, action. Whenever you're on the movie scene, whenever you're watching a movie, whenever they're videoing or filming a movie, it's always lights, camera, action, because there has to be some action in order for us to be able to watch the movie. What about the movie of your faith, the journey of your faith? The C stands for cooperate with God. The C stands for cooperate with God. Just breaking it down into an acronym this morning, and that is you got to cooperate with God. You can't be in disagreement with God and God's word and what he's called you to do if you think your faith is going to grow. So the C in action of your faith has to do with cooperating with God. Stop bucking up against God. Ask Paul what will happen. You're going to get knocked off your horse. And, as Paul says, as the Lord said to him, he responded, says, why, Paul, are you keep kicking against the prick? When you want to move forward, cooperate with God through his word. The T stands for, in our acronym this morning, is this: tough. You got to be tough. When you decide you're going to walk by faith, live by faith, advance by faith, and cooperate with God, you got to be tough. You got to understand this, that 2 Timothy 2:13 says you got to endure hardship. You got to endure hardship. Please don't think that everything is going to be easy in this world. It's not. It's not. So you got to be willing to endure hardship. You got to cooperate with God. You got to advance. And then the I stands for this: be intentional. God is not an accidental God. God is not a God of chaos. God is very much intentional. Think about it. Look at the galaxy. Have you ever seen a star bump into another star? A planet bump into another planet? Why? Because God was intentional. He puts things in place with intent. It's not an accident. So if God is intentional, how do you have to live your life? How have you have to live your life? You got to live your life with intention. Wake up with intention. Go up throughout the day with intention. Make relationships with intention. You intend to do something. You intend to go to an expected end. You intend to reach a goal or an objective or whatever it is that is going on in your life. You have to be intentional because God is intentional. What does the O stand for in our action this morning of faith? The O stands for overcoming obstacles. When you are intentional, when you cooperate with God, when you are advancing, you have to understand you are going to overcome obstacles. How do you do that? Omit your mistakes and omit your missteps. God is a forgiving God. 1 John 1:9 says this. He says that confess your faults to one another, and our God is faithful and just to forgive us and cleanse us from all unrighteousness. We have to understand something. You are going to make some mistakes. There are going to be some obstacles that take you back, set you back. But you got to understand the fact is that you have to omit. You got to keep going. You cannot stay there in that place. God has got to forgive you. He's going to forgive you. Move forward. Move on. What's the end for? The end is for this. No weapon formed against you will prosper. When you operating in faith, no weapon formed against you will prosper. Didn't say it wasn't going to form. Didn't say you weren't going to be able to see the weapon. Didn't say somebody was going to take a shot at you. It just won't prosper. It won't. So this morning, I want you to know this. Your life, your journey that you're on is lights, camera, action. Let's get about living and walking out our faith. The Lord be with you today. May His face shine upon you. Give you peace. Share the manna. Don't keep it to yourself. Jot down what the Lord spoke to you in the chat area so somebody else can get that revelation. I'll see you tomorrow morning with more Morning Manna. God bless you. Bye now.